You called the church, but you did not report her. Her
No. I
behavior
was like, I
was
don't know what to do
she's
with
under
this.
your authority. You needed
Right.
some wise counsel. So
I
you
didn't know what
sought
to
the
do.
advice. You didn't know what to do. So you sought counsel. That's not reporting her.
Right.
Okay, it's telling them what she was doing and asking for their advice, but you were not submitting to their authority necessarily, and you're not putting your wife under their authority to judge her and issue a consequence or a sentence. You were looking for advice.
Yep. I got okay advice. I'm not saying it's terrible, but I was naive. And the church is naive. I shouldn't have believed her. I shouldn't have believed the excuses. But let's fast forward. Okay.
Wait, well, hold on here. A woman would lie to get out of trouble and avoid accountability.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm shocked.
I know. Oh, absolute shocker, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
they're more liable to deception. They're more easily deceived, and they go by groupthink. And, well, they go by what the sisterhood wants and what culture wants more than what is actually true. They go by feels before reals a lot of the time, which is part of the problem. Okay, so fast forward a few years. Okay, I had finished seminary. We had some issues there and there. She kept reporting me to her dad, who was an elder in the church, and you being head doesn't mean you get to tell her what to do. Like telling her to put her fucking phone away at the table, right? When we're having supper, right? They didn't say it in those words. Oh, but how dare you? How dare you expect her to have sex with you? How dare you confront her? No, you just need to love her more. And that's not what submission really means. Okay. Fast forward, I left the CREC. I was in the PCA. The first time she lied. She was lying. Lied about moving. I had to pay an extra few $1,000. She broke a contract, which I told her to study, which she didn't. But I trusted her on the finances. Okay, right? Okay. Well, I get pissed off. Something breaks. I mouth off and leave. I show back up with my friend. She's being all sorts of nasty. And I fucking lose it. By losing it, I just say what's really the fucking problem all along in front of her parents. Why won't you fuck me? Oh, here comes my pastor, who I was interning under. Oh, you just need to love her more. How dare you say that to her? Does anything happen to her, guys?
Nope.
This
No.
frustrated chump over here, right? Nope. How dare you?
Nick, you
You're
needed
a
a
bad
hug.
man.
You just
I
needed
just
a
need to be
hug.
fucked. I just
And a
need to be
man
fucked, man.
who won't hug his wife and say, there. How, if he's that nasty and hard-hearted, how can you ever expect such a woman to part her legs for such an evil man? Such a hard-hearted man. Maybe not
I'm
evil.
a bad man. I'm dangerous, apparently. Whatever. All right. Okay. Same interning. Guess what? Astros were playing in the World Series. I hadn't watched baseball in years because guess who controlled the television? Because I was so sacrificial. I had to let the kids and her agenda go over. Damn it, the
So is this
Astros in the World
while you
Series.
were So
I
is
was
this while you
interning
were
the
in the
Presbyterian
PCA?
Church in America. Yep. Same guy.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to get you for contumacy. And I'm like, she won't fuck me. She won't listen to me. I just wanted to watch the damn baseball game. The Astros are in the World Series. I want to watch the game for once. I haven't watched baseball in years. Oh, I'm going to get you for contumacy. No, no, no. You have so many issues. You need professional help. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, what the fuck did they do to her? Nope, nothing. Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Nick. Hey, Nick. That's
What?
that's just a continuation of the long line of using psychology to demonize normal male behavior. I mean, we talk about this
Report me to the elders. Hey, who's calling the elders here? The bat on the husband? Reporting the leader of the home?
It sounds like your pastor guy.
Wait, it's
No,
your
the wife
pastor.
to the
Just to be
elders and the
clear,
pastor.
this pastor was not Doug Wilson.
Correct.
Even though he's up on the screen. We're not talking about Doug here.
It's a perennial
Correct?
problem. This is a common yes, exactly. But it's the same phenomena. This mentality
yeah.
doesn't come out of nowhere.
Hey, Nick, there's a great comment on the site I want to pull up.
Sure.
Elders like to think their presumably obedient wives are a product of their great leadership rather than their wife's father. That's an interesting twist on this idea of servant leadership. It's like, oh, my wife is so obedient because I'm such a great servant leader. See, I do all the right things and she does all the right things. But Chief, I think you might be onto something here. It's not really a product of their servant leadership because all of these behaviors, and any psychologist will tell you this, all of your core sets of behaviors are completely formed in you by the age of 6. So your core temperament, your core, like how she's going to respond to authority figures in her are programmed and locked in by the age of 6, and they will never change after that. And that's a function of the father, not of the husband.
And I'm not saying the husband's behavior has no factor there, but there's a nature and nurture, which if he steps into that and exemplifies the same leadership traits, there generally shouldn't be a problem unless she rebels for some issue. And one of those issues we'll talk about later. I have some stuff on that.
Right. I think, I mean, obviously, if you're a weak man, and you give her the space to run you over, she will, because that's female.
I did. I did because I was forced to think that's correct.
Right. That's female
I was
nature.
beat into submission by tyrants.
So we need a hierarchy here. Oh, hey guys, I'm going to do this for a minute. So we all have nature, and in the Red Pill, we talk a lot about female nature. This is core programming that exists in every human from the moment they're conceived. Okay. Female nature is always and will always be. Okay. It supersedes even these core temperamental things that you're programming into your young kids. Okay. The 6-year-old stuff is, okay, we have female nature, but have we been able to teach them the discipline, to give them the tools to work around it, right? It's like these are the tools that contain your base animal nature and set you up to be a functioning human being later in life. Okay, so there's a hierarchy of how this works, and then your teenage years, you spend a lot of time more learning how to operate in social situations, right? But these things come, the more complicated these things are, the later they come in life as skills. Okay, the point here is that I'm trying to make is that there is a hierarchy or taxonomy of this stuff, and these servant leader guys are over here thinking that they've done something special. Well, I can guarantee you, Doug Wilson did not marry his wife when she was 6. So what that really means is, and this is, I think, what Chief is getting at, is that he had nothing to do with his wife's good temperament in terms of creating it. He might be able to keep the temperament alive by being a proper man or not, And as I said earlier, that joke he made sounds like a guy who has, a harridan of a wife. But so, I have to question that. But I want to make that point about the hierarchy. Hierarchies are everywhere in all aspects of life and nature and the universe we live in. This is just another example of it.
Well, you brought up something. Before the age of 6, you have human nature, and you have the father who basically instills discipline. So it's a skill that they can use. The child learns that discipline skill to discipline their nature. Then they'll go on to test that and whatnot in their teenage years. And then in their marriage, if she's learned that skill of discipline, and he has too, it's exhibited in different ways, she'll probably be a good wife. But can she learn the skill of discipline after she gets married? Can she learn the skill of discipline in her 20s or 30s if she did not learn it before the age of 6?
Chances are no. Yeah, by God's grace, he can transform people, but don't count on it.
Yeah,
Don't
I
count
would
on
say play the odds, guys. Realistically, and here's the other thing I would say. Can they learn it? Yes, but it will always be an affectation. It'll always be a suit they wear. And so what you find with these people who learn it later in life is that they can discard it much easier because it is not part of their core programming that they grew up with as kids. And Jordan Peterson's actually talked about this quite a bit. If you want to go research more on it, and he did this kind of stuff, and he was dealing with the people who didn't have this programming in them from a young age, and he can teach it to them, and that's a lot of what he was doing in his clinical career, was trying to help people get the discipline they needed to function in society, jobs and relationships. And but even then, it's like, yeah, I can give this to you, but what you always find is they throw it off like yesterday's underwear when it suits them.
Maybe to throw around some terms, discipline learned at a young age becomes a core competency.
Yes.
Discipline learned or imposed later is a threat of penalty.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Or threat of consequences. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
Threat of consequences.
Hmm.
And, a lot of people don't even learn to recognize the consequences of their behavior later in life because they just refuse to consider discipline, even when it comes to their own personal consequences for their behavior.
Yeah.